You are now checking out
the Win Podcast,
where the everyday people
are the celebrities.
So let's get to know them.
So yeah, we started this journey, and it's like we've grown so much since like the beginning of when we started. Like that is just it feels really good to see where we are right now. And of course, under the circumstances, we're like limited to do certain things. Of course, like we're here on Zoom now because of it. But we just the strive and like the push is always there for us. That's who I am. Like I love to strive. I love to push myself. I love to be, well, at least try to be like the best of the best, not to show off, but for myself. Like, you know, so it's like I just turned 23 a couple days ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Like I'm a pendejito, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I'm a good time. Like I'm really a good time.
Yes.
Like I told you, I was drinking on Zoom till 7 a.m. Well, this morning.
Yeah.
Like,
You still drinking.
That's so funny the way parties are now.
Yes, right?
Zoom parties.
It's like
you can't get kicked out.
you
Like,
can't get kicked out. And you pass out, you're right there in your bed.
right?
And there's no age
And if
limit.
the lights go down, doesn't matter. It keeps going.
That's a fact. That's so true.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I have I have 3 sisters. I have an older brother. My older brother actually has a baby with Joce's mom. So that's how we were friends before.
Okay.
Yes.
So my nephew is Joce's little brother. So that's why I call her my niece. And it's so funny because if you listen to our podcast, we be like talking about the craziest
Things that Uncle and Anisha should not be talking about, but
and I'd be like, well, people be like, oh, how do you know each other? I'm like, this is my niece. Like, this is my niece. Like, she says bendición. Like, you know, like. So yeah, that's who I am. I'm just I'm a really good kid. Like I work hard, I study hard in school, and I love who I am.
yes. Oh, I love who you are too.
And,
I know.
we are virtual hugs.
Yeah.
So, Joce, who are you?
Yeah.
Ooh, who am I? My name is Jocelyn, but people call me Joce or Joss. I'm from Brooklyn. I do a lot of things. I guess, like, I call myself an entrepreneur because there's not, like, one thing that I like to do. I do the podcast. I'm on another show. I like fitness, like, everything. I'm out there. I feel like I'm really ambitious, and I don't know. I feel like the world is just like mine. I just need to go out and take everything that's
I love the
out
energy
there.
in this room right now. I love it.
The Zoom energy.
Yes. So for Wind Down, I had originally started it like 4 years ago. I would say 4.
That's
or 5
perfect because that was like my next question.
Yeah.
Like, what is the Wind Down podcast, and like,
Yeah.
how did it start? What was that moment for you guys?
Yeah.
So I love wine. Everyone knows I love wine. Like wine is my thing since like 5 years ago. Before I
I
was
thought you was
supposed
gonna say since
I know.
5 years old. I was like, okay, you have a problem, but
Because
it's
you
fine.
are
It's
young,
okay.
so I'm like, since when?
19 or something.
You're literally
Yeah.
sick.
You're literally sick in the head. So I used to go on Snapchat and like after drinking wine, go on my rants or whatever. Like I'll talk about a topic and people are just like, oh, I like the way you speak, blah, blah, blah. You should like start a YouTube channel. So I did, and I had a few episodes out, but it just started getting boring, I guess, to me, and I just wasn't seeing the engagement, and I kind of fell off, and like Vinny said, I put the book on the shelf, left it alone. Then a few years later, I ended up moving back to Brooklyn, and then me and Vinny started hanging out even more. Used to go over on Fridays right after work, and I'll get wine or he'll get wine, have the hookah, and then we'll just sit and we'll talk. And then one day I'm just like, well, we were just like, let's record this. Like, let's just like put it on Facebook Live and Instagram Live and see like what happens. So we did, and then that was it. Once that happened, people loved it. We just started recording, making it an every Friday thing, and that was that.
Yeah, and like to add on to like what she was saying with the whole, we would like go, but we would sit there for hours.
Yeah, like 3-4 hours.
Like we would sit there for hours, and we was like, okay, there, like we have something here. It's like we can't just. We were literally, and we would go into deep like thought, and we were like, just me and her, literally, like nobody else. Like,
prior to this, did you guys actually had these type conversations before, like saying?
No.
Oh, so they just came automatically.
I think it was
doing a podcast.
Yeah, like for me, I guess I was going through something in my life at the time, and like that was my escape. Like I would go over to his house and we'll just chill, and like we would just talk about everything and anything, and there was no judgment. We had great chemistry. Like we just read each other very well, and the way we like have conversations, it just flowed perfectly. So I guess that's why it was just, this is like therapy. Like I need to do this.
No, it's so true. It's like, and at that time, I feel like I was like a sponge. Like I'm literally like with my friends and my family, I'm literally like I just soak everything in. But you really got to squeeze me to get a little out of me. You know, I don't like talking about myself.
No, he doesn't like talking.
But now it's like I'm talking about myself. It's done. It's over with because of wind down. Like literally, like I've spoken about things that I would never think I'd speak about publicly. But it just feels like so intimate between me and my niece, and like we're talking whatever that we don't even care who's listening. And it's like in the beginning there was like minimal activity, obviously, like when you start something, like it's not as big as like it's gonna get, but we were still like, we're still gonna do this, and we're still gonna do this, and it's just that drive is, I know it's what's gonna get us far.
Yeah.
And you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for people. You're enjoying the moment, and that it's a safe space. And I feel like you're just, because you're doing it for you, that's how come it's has thrived as much as it has.
I
also feel too that like this was building you guys' relationship.
Yeah.
Because prior to this, you guys didn't have that.
Right.
For whatever reason. Not say that you guys hated each other, but you just wasn't talking. Having these conversations. And here comes this platform that you guys created. And now you're learning about yourself, but now learning about each other and building a stronger connection within you guys, because it is key, and it's going to help you guys to move forward, whatever is coming in the future, whatever. You got that Mike, and you also got Vin, and you got Joce as well.
No, yeah. My favorite like memory of us is Joce asked me to be her high school prom.
Oh my God, yes.
And I didn't graduate high school, so I never went to prom. So it's like, it was like such that was literally the only prom I ever went, because even in middle school I was so bad that they didn't allow me to go to prom. So the only prom I ever been to in my life, Joce took me to.
Yes.
So it's like, it's literally, it's a heartfelt moment. It's a memory, it's a fond memory. And we even have a video, and we were so young, and it's like, that was literally, I think, our like really like real first memory together.
Yes.
Because we would always see each other, like, because we grew up in like a block away from each other. So we would see each other like as we grew up, even before her mom had a kid with my brother. Like we knew who we were, like years before, So it's like, after that, her mom moved in with us. They had my nephew, and it's like, that's when like we started to build that relationship. But it really skyrocketed after the podcast.
So Vin and Joce, Vin, you said that you pretty much is the type of person that you have to squeeze out all this information, and then once the podcast came, you opened up, started talking about everything. Jocelyn, did you were the same way? Did you talk a lot of things, or you was just pretty much like him, like, dude, you have to squeeze it out?
Oh no, I talk.
Okay, so I want to, no, I just want to confirm, because Vin, how did you feel now, the moment that you're able to let all those things that you suppressed for all these years, now you're talking about it? How did that feel for you?
I always say I'm so much more happier. Like, well, I was always happy. You know what I'm saying? I was always happy. But I also, it didn't really, like, I was a very private person. In some ways I still am, but also, like, I would, on my Instagram, I would do, like, funny videos and funny skits and everything. So everybody knew I was a crazy kid. I was partying, like, in the clubs since 16. Like, I had my own, I was a lively kid. I wasn't, like, just one of those shut-in kids.
Right.
But it was more for me with the people around me. It was more like I would focus on them. You know, like I always take care of myself, but it was never like, oh, like I want to talk to you about how I feel. Because I don't need to talk to you about how I feel. At the moment, that's how I felt. But now it feels so much good to like just talk about how you feel and like make like feel a little more important. You know what I'm saying?
So, Jocelyn, how did it feel for you now? You've always been open to talk, but now it's almost to the point where you're broadcasting. So it's like a different level for you. Now it's like everywhere. It's out of control now.
It's a little funny to me now that I'm hearing Vinny say what he's saying, because as a kid he was always funny and outgoing, even though he wasn't talking, that much about his personal life. He was still out there. I feel like I was the total opposite. You could ask him, I was shy. You didn't hear a word from me at all in general about anything.
Just literally like the penguins in Madagascar say, like just a smile and wave. That's all you got from Joce, a smile and a wave, and she would hurry along.
Yes.
Like just through 4th Avenue, like minding her own business. Like,
so I guess for me, even though coming into the podcast, like I had already passed that stage and I was out and, open, I feel like, I don't know, it's helped me too. It's made me more fearless and made me feel like my word and my voice means something.
Exactly.
Because I've gotten, people write to me, or even on Instagram, and they're just like, I love your posts, like I love what you represent, you're motivating. And that to me is just like, wow, like why was I afraid of like speaking and being who I was years ago when like people love this. Like this is great.
Yeah, I mean recognition also plays a huge part. Like, like having people like recognize what you're doing. Like it's literally like me and Joce have cried.
Yeah.
Literally with the messages that people have sent us. Like literally like, and even just me and her, like, literally
we're both
just
emotional.
Yeah, just crying, like, like just like because we're so happy, it's a good thing. And at the beginning, it was more like a platform to share our personal lives and all of that, but then it kind of transformed into like helping other people like share their lives and share their experiences. Like when we had Rick, we wanted like everybody from our audience to know who Rick was, who the Wind podcast was, who Cloud was. You know what I'm saying? Like, and your story. And we don't sit there. We try not to make it feel like if we're like, okay, so what do you do? Like we don't want the guests to feel like they're being pressed or like they're being like asked questions that are like kind of repetitive. We want to have a conversation, like what we're doing now.
Exactly.
So it's like that, and then just to have people like spread their businesses and they share their ideas. Like, that's what the platform is about. It's for us to share our ideas and to share our business, but to also like welcome other people who don't have a platform. There's countless of times that people like, I've never even did a podcast and I had so much fun. Like, and that really feels like that means a lot to us.
Are there any challenges you guys bumped into throughout this whole process with these 2 years that you have together?
Have we?
And right, it feels like it's been a little seamless, but maybe
I don't know. I
It could be
mean,
minor,
thank
it doesn't have to
God.
be something.
I guess like in the beginning, finding a space to record at, and then like the videography, like I guess the technical stuff of it.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, it's just we're just so worry free that we're like, no, we don't.
Yeah, we don't.
But it's like, no, it's true. It's like, but again, like you said, like a minor.
Right.
So it's like, honestly, between me and Joce, like we're so honest with each other that thank God, there's never been a bump in the road. You know what I'm saying? It's like we say how we feel, and you know what I'm saying, like, but we do it in a respectful way because we're family. We're family, and a lot of people are like always tell us like, oh, you can't mix family and business. But it's like, you got to do it with the right person, and you got to respect the other person.
Right.
I think that's great. And because you guys learned communication with each other, and that's key in anything type of relationship, whatever it's friendship, family, and also doing a podcast like this. Did that come naturally, or that was something that you guys had to work on it to like, hey, I want to say something how I feel about the podcast, yada yada, so no one's taking offensive. Because I want to touch on that because a lot of people may work well to people, don't know how to communicate well to people. So how did that work for you guys to build that? And maybe you didn't work on it; just happened naturally. But what was the steps that you guys took to let's communicate?
I feel like Vinny and I are both. I don't know what's the word. Blunt, I guess, so like what you said, open. So even if you did feel a type of way, we just be like, well, that's just
the thing with us is that we just shoot ideas. Like we don't sit there and be like, well, I want it this way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we throw ideas back and forth. Like you see our messages and it's like we're both busy. Literally, like she writes to me all morning, literally, and then I write to her all night, and that's how we communicate. So Friday comes and we're talking because it's like. We don't sit there. It's rare that we're really texting back and forth. You know, it's like she texts me all day and then I shoot her ideas right back all night.
Right.
Like, you know, because that's when we can actually speak.
You found what works for you guys.
Right. And normally the way we communicate via text, I personally hate. Like I would not want to text anybody else. I would get so mad. But because it's Vinny and because I know our bond and our relationship, there's really it's just like that's just us because like you said, I do the same thing too. He'll text me and I'm like, I'm busy. Like I'll just text him later and then I do and it's just we just know that there's never anything negative.
It's always been like that.
Was there something that you learned about each other that you didn't realize in the past?
That's a good question.
That's an amazing question.
Now I'm trying to think.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, like we personally, like for both of us, we become so much more like open again, like we were saying. Like, you know, we come very much open to like sharing ideas and all of that. Like, and Joce as well, like she was really like, you know, when she was younger, she was like this shy girl. She was really like closed in, you know, but in the best way possible. Like it wasn't like in a rude manner or anything. And I've seen her grow to like this fierceful woman who it's like, you know, it's like, she's like a force to reckon with.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And it's like, I seen that growth, you know, and I'm so blessed to know that growth. Like when people meet Joce now, and they're like intimidated by like who she is, it's like, okay, you don't even know the half of it. Like you're lucky you're getting this Joce. Because I got a Joce once that didn't even speak a word.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I respect her growth, you know, not like other people would.
I love that. For me, for Vinny, I felt like before we did Wine Down, I always like thought Vinny was just like funny. Like that was his thing. He's just like the comedian. Like he'll make you die laughing in general. But I honestly didn't even know how intellectual this man was until we started recording. When he drops gems, he drops gems. And it's just like we're both young, but it's like he's just so smart. And the way that he speaks is like, I'm like, this was here all along.
Literally, yes. Sometimes you catch Joce just staring at me.
Yeah,
that's how I love. That's how we communicate. Like she'd be like, "Look," she sends me screenshots.
Half the pictures, I'm just looking at him like.
Yes, but I look at her the same way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I literally look at her the same way. Like it's really a strong bond. Like, you know, and I love bonds like that. Me personally. It's like I don't when I'm very close with somebody, like I'm close with that person. Like I don't like I can't really.
You can't be like acquaintance.
No, it's not that. I'm just saying like I don't think I ever like with the people that I love and I respect and I'm close with, like I will never cross them over. So it's like, and they know that, so they'll never do it to me either. So it's like I've never had like bumps on the road with anybody that I love. You know, because they know how much of a respectful man I am and how much I respect them as well. So it's really hard to have a bump in the road with me.
So about the podcast, like what have you found interesting with the different guests that you've interviewed?
Wow.
These questions are great.
I know, I love it. Go ahead.
Oh, it was me, my turn to answer.
Yes.
You said interesting or with the guests, right?
Yeah. Now it's towards the guests, not you.
For the guests, I feel like Okay, with social media, I feel like when you see someone's page, you know, you think that they have it all together, that they're like doing this and that, and they're good. They are like on it, and which they may be. But when we've had a lot of people come to the show, they're just like they're nervous, just like we were nervous. Like I was nervous today. Like they're kind of don't know what to say sometimes, and then we'll have to try to steer the conversation somewhere else. Or it's just I feel like again don't judge a book by its cover. I feel like that's what I've learned from them, because like I said, sometimes I'll think that they're coming and they're just like about to demolish us, and we're just like, oh, you're new to this too. Like they're human beings too. Like sometimes with the guests, I'm just like, oh my god, it's someone that I'm so excited to interview, but they feel the exact same way.
No, yeah, definitely. One thing that I find interesting is the tone with the guests, is the tone of conversation before the wine bottle.
Okay, yes.
And the tone of conversation after the wine bottle. Because when I tell you, it's like, it's real, like in the beginning, it's like, hey, how are you? But in the end, it's like, bitch, I fucking love you. Like, give me I'm coming back. Like, it's just like the tone,
that
like
courage water.
Yeah, it's like from the beginning to the end, it's like I love seeing that transition from like being sober and coming in and starting and them being a little nervous to like the outcome and how happy they are.
They
like
feel at home
it's
after.
never, thank God, it's always been like that transition before the wine bottle and after it's always been there with the guests.
How do you guys remain true to yourselves with honesty and with this honest relationship that you have with each other? And now you're gonna interview people, right? Who may be closed off, who may be you, Vinny, who may be squeezed in the beginning. You have to squeeze everything out. How do you remain true to be like, okay, you're going to control the conversation to make sure that they feel comfortable, but at the same time, you want to talk about real stuff, be honest. I hope they go there. So how do you remain true to yourself in those interview process? Go ahead.
I think honestly, when we have guests, we don't only focus on them.
Mm-hmm.
So when we see that they're a little closed off, we start talking about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Me and her start having a conversation. So the guests could be like, okay, like, they're sharing this much. It's like, okay, I could share a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't sit there and look at them to answer the next question.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There, like if you don't feel like answering, so me and Joce are gonna talk.
Because you could kind of sense too, like in a normal conversation, when someone is just like their social batteries kind of running out, and you're like, okay, well, I'll just hand over to Vinny. I'm like, Vinny, like, oh my god, we'll just talk about something random, and then that person will. It's like a conversation. They'll what's the word?
Open up.
Yeah, open up to it.
No, yeah, definitely.
What's great about that also, what I realized about your show, and hopefully the guests realize that as well, is that they don't necessarily need the wine to open up, because you guys drink the wine because you love it, right? So you're not using it as the clutch to open up. You just happen to like, let's have a conversation, let's have wine. But the guests may not have this relationship with themselves to be open and talk. So this wine kind of like shows them in the end, right, that once they had a little buzz in them, that they could communicate, they could talk, they do have a story. And I hope that they realize that, realize that they don't need that to actually have a conversation,
Right.
to actually open up,
A few people who didn't drink.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I love that you brought that up, the whole like, opening up with the wine, because the last episode that we had, she's an immigrant from Ethiopia. She came to America. She was in my English class last semester. So I was telling Joce about her because while she was presenting her essay, she sat there and she took out her business cards. She started talking about her business, how, she makes leather bags and imports them from Ethiopia, and how she's like selling these bags. And this is not somebody who drinks. Like, when we contacted her, she was like, I'll be on the show, but I don't drink wine. And it's like she sat there and she told us how scared she was to come to America, not knowing the language, but she still did. And her business is so successful right now. And she was so happy that, we reached out to her and gave her a platform. So it's like, I feel like there was no wine involved, but she really opened up to us.
I feel like it's just the vibe, like exactly what you're saying. Wine down is wine, like wine down. You're drinking wine, you're having a good time, but you don't, like you say, you don't necessarily need it. It's just a conversation in general that you're having with people. Just us being vulnerable with each other and open and knowing that there's no judgment whatsoever, and you can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, and we're not going to stop you pretty much. Like, if people just gravitate towards that, and I think that that's what makes people comfortable, and our relationship with each other too, the bond that we have, and the way we interact, people are just like, okay, like they're actually kind of cool. I could sit down and talk with them.
Well, yeah, you guys are providing a platform. Sorry, you guys are providing a platform that that's beautiful, because not a lot of people know how to communicate anymore. Like, everything is through text, right? Through text, through DMs, through whatever, social media. Here you guys are being young, but have these old souls sitting
Yes.
down. I'm like, can we have a conversation, like, with
They
words?
can't. That's how we're catch. That's how punchline.
And it's just like, holy crap! And you realize that not a lot of people know how to do that,
No,
because they're like, oh, I will kill this conversation with my thumbs though, but not with my mouth. Like,
right.
Yes, that's so funny. I never thought about it like that.
and
No, I love
you're
that.
showing them that, like, hey, whether you're wrong, right, have an opinion, whatever, you have a mouth, you have words, you can use it. Let's communicate. Let's respect each other, and let's be like open about this. You're
Well,
teaching. It's weird. You're teaching them the
You are,
fundamentals that we should have been taught when we're
we
young.
are.
But the generations change with the technology, So now it's like you got to teach them this lost art in a sense. But at the same
Exactly.
time, you're giving them a gift, because the gift already blessed you guys. It started with you guys first, while learning about yourselves and talking, and then all of a sudden your relationship, fixing that and then getting it better. So now you guys are sharing that. It's like, this is what could happen if you talk to one another. And
Yeah, and
Right.
I'm really happy that you got to experience that. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yes.
so sad that Cloud couldn't come, but I'm just saying I'm so happy that Rick got to experience like
it was
what we
great. You
do
was
and
nostalgic.
how we do it.
I watched it. I didn't miss out. I watched
No,
it.
she got
She was
necklace.
there.
She got
I
necklace.
was there. I was there.
She
I
was,
was
she
there in
was, but
spirit.
Yes.
yeah, like you got to experience what we do like firsthand. So
Yeah.
it's like you're not speaking from a place where you're just thinking about or like assuming that this is what happens. No, it's really what happens.
Yeah.
I love that.
I wanted to ask you guys, where do you see yourselves in the future with this podcast?
Wow. Honestly, where did I see myself 2 years ago with this podcast? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it, and it's like me and Joce, we're like we're like the gods of like manifesting things. Like, I literally had a notebook.
Oh my God.
I love this notebook. I had a notebook, and like before, like even the studio for anything, we wrote like what guests we wanted, what topics we wanted, like everything. And throughout that year, if you literally go on our podcast, we've had the guests that we wrote, we've had the conversations that we wrote, and it was just literally like, we did this, like, it's like, so it's like starting from looking back then to like looking now, it's like I didn't think we were gonna be this far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Having like a whole Instagram page, because the Instagram page came later.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even have an Instagram page. Like, that came later. And it basically like has its own world as well, because people have asked, like Joce, and have asked me like, oh, like you don't do the wind down no more, like what's going on with the wind down? But we're like, we're not
active.
we have our own pages, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the wind down already has its own page, so it's like if you want to see the wind down, then go on the wind down page. But yeah, I mean, it's been a really good journey, but we definitely want to get to the point where it's like we're sitting down and having conversations with not only ordinary people, but like successful people as well. Like, we know we don't need it because they're already successful, they already have a platform, but to sit there and like speak to those
And
people,
share the knowledge.
yeah, I think we're gonna get there one day. Like,
No,
definitely.
yeah, we are. I see
You're already
us
there.
just
I was gonna say you're there because you
You're
guys have interviewed. Okay, they're not
yes,
to the
that's
world,
true.
they're not successful, But a lot of the people that you have interviewed, they are successful.
No,
That's
they
true.
are.
That's true. That's
So
true.
you have already.
I feel like for me, I'm a big dreamer. So I see us like
Grand.
big, grand, and like Times Square with the billboards on Spotify,
Yes.
sponsor. Like I see us going big, and not only being just a podcast, but like having this conversation too made me realize that we're great at having people have conversations. So it's like we could definitely branch out into other things. So, but I just feel like we're gonna go very, very far.
We're like social butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell.
So we got to know you guys, and you shared a lot. And now we're gonna move forward to the first segment of which is called "Let's Look Inside." And in this segment, we basically ask you questions from it, and then whatever comes to mind, there's no right or wrong answer. You just go for it. So I'm gonna do the first one, and she's gonna do the second question. So the first question, she looks mad nervous. And what's behind door number one?
What's inside? She's going first. Definitely.
No.
All right. So let's look inside is the first segment. The first question is, when you are 80 years old, what will matter to you the most?
We're both answering?
Yep.
No, well, yeah, but you go first.
Hi. What would matter first to me?
What would matter the most to you when you're 80 years old?
The most to me when I'm 80 years old. Honestly, I feel like what matters now, myself, it sounds very selfish, but the reason why I say that is because by that age, I would like to have like grandkids and stuff like that, but I still want to be here. So in order to be here, I still need to take care of my body, my soul, my spirit, just the person that I am. So for me, myself, I need to be selfish.
Nice.
So me, honestly, it's just when I'm 80 years old, like I need to still be with my friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still need them around me. Like, you know, that's it. That's an age. That's a like delicate age where it's like you're gonna lose a few family members, probably. Like God forbid, obviously. Like, you know, because if you're 80 and you know you have older siblings, you know, obviously like things happen. You know, like older cousins, like aunts and stuff. Like, you know, just this past year, like my uncle and my aunt already passed away. You know, at not really an old age, but it's like I'm not even that old. So imagine at 80. Right. It's like I'm gonna look around like, damn, like what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
definitely.
I love that because when I saw that question today, you know, I loved it because there's so many layers to it. Because, like, for instance, what we want now is going to change 10 years from later. You know, 10 years from now, after that, and after that. And so things keep changing. And then when you finally look back, if you're blessed to reach 80, you're looking back like, well, was that really necessary? What I wanted when I was 35 or 40? Like, no, that what was really my purpose, what really brought me joy, what was the real meaning for me that I loved when I was being alive. You know?
I love that.
Yeah.
So moving forward.
So the next question is, what do you love most about yourself?
You can answer it first.
Okay. Honestly, like what I love, I'm like very like compassionate with the people I love. You know what I'm saying? Like with the people I love, like I'm nice to everybody, but like if I love you, it's like you're never gonna hear a no from me. Like again, I was on Zoom last night with my friends till 7 a.m. I was not saying no. Like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even want to go on. Like I didn't want to go on, and I literally like I was like, whatever, I'm gonna just go on because you know those are my friends and whatever. We're all going through this. Let's have a good time. And I was there till 7 a.m. because I didn't say no and I had a blast. I'm not a person. So I'm a very nice, outgoing, like compassionate person.
For me, I would say my resilience. Only because I've been through a lot and I never let it dim who I am. Like I never let it alter my personality. I never let it become who I am. I just feel like I go through stuff and it may hurt and it may be horrible at the time, but I'm just like, all right, you know what? We're still here. Let's just get it together and move forward. So that's my favorite thing about myself, my resilience.
So guys, I love that. And this is when the tears come in because I know you guys are very emotional. that is the end of the Win Podcast.
Wait, I was saying,
No.
Don't make me cry, 'cause I will. I'm so good at crying on the spot.
he is.
She said,
And I was gonna cry earlier too when he was talking
I'll
about
cry
us
right
and
now.
stuff.
Oh, I do also want to say that I feel like you guys had I don't know what the connection was, but you were together in your past life.
Yeah.
Because of how you are now. You could tell.
And we'll be
You have
together
a
in
strong
the afterlife.
connection.
there goes the tears. There goes the tears.
Honestly.
Don't.
Aww.
You are now checking out
The Win Podcast.
where the everyday people
Are the celebrities.
so let's get to know them.